This is going to probably be one of the best. It's long. It's about 2.5 hours, but well worth watching the entire thing to the end. There's a lot of science and mathematics packed into this. Over the past, maybe 2, 3 months, I've been utilizing Mathematica to try and find a way of not only showing myself that I'm not out of my mind, because I wanted to obviously test to make sure of that using science and mathematics, because science and mathematics does not lie, but also find a way to show the world that if indeed what I think I'm seeing is right, well, then there's got to be a way to prove that using mathematics and science, and it's exactly what I've done. This is a very special presentation. I did not think I would have it done by this time. There's still quite a lot of work that needs to be done, but I've actually got it to a point now where I can utilize Mathematica, the raw power of Mathematica. It's such incredible software. It just blows me away what that software can do. And those of you who are just now joining, and I'm hoping that the entire world actually sees this so they can open up their minds to the actual existence of demonic entities and realize that mathematics can prove their existence, which is what I'm doing right here. So, my name is Jerry, and I've been heavily attacked by a group known as the BS Camp. They've affected my entire life in a very negative way, in such a way that I may not even be able to recover. It's been irreparable damages to me financially. It's been intense emotional damages, and it's been physical pain like you cannot possibly imagine. I had to go to the emergency room, 3 times as a result of their latest stunt, which was, black magic and witchcraft being used to conjure demonic entities and hindering spirits, which literally attacked me. It's pretty sad. But these things do exist, and that's what you're going to find out if you actually make it through this presentation, which I hope you do. Then you'll know what's going on. Thanks. This is going to be a fairly unique presentation. I don't think anyone has ever done anything like what I've just done, not only to prove of demonic existence using a very powerful software called Mathematica, which I have open right now. And my background in physics and electrical and computer systems engineering, and software engineering as well for about 35 years. And I've been using Mathematica since I was, I think, around 15 is the first time I started using it. When it practically first came out. So, I stopped using it for a while, but then I started using it again pretty heavily on some other projects that I worked on. But if you get a chance to, just read through that. Give you about maybe 5 minutes to read that, and then we'll start diving into some fun stuff. It's going to be a rather intense presentation in terms of utilizing various ideas that I tested and went through, and man, it was tough. I had to write a lot of Mathematica script and a lot of code. Some of the stuff I had to do externally in Python, some in C++, which is my favorite language, but Mathematica script is extremely powerful. In fact, I'd venture to say it's the most powerful software in the world ever developed by far. It's incredible software, actually. So, but get a chance to review that, and then we'll be on our way to having some fun times. And this is something that I think you're probably going to want to share with everyone you know, because I do not believe anyone on the face of the planet has ever accomplished what you'll see we accomplish at the end here. It's quite fascinating, the approach that I took. But once I have a vision, I usually stick with it and drive it to success until the BS camp comes in and slaughters it down, like they always do with their tortious interference of both business and personal relationships. It's unfortunate for them that my background in physics and math and using Mathematica was strong enough to be able to show the world what these people have done. It's pretty disgusting, but you'll see soon enough. And boy, do I mean that when I say that there about my faith has been what's kept me alive. It's really the only armor that we need in spiritual warfare. We don't use, battle axes and, violence, outlashes, things like this. Faith is what you need. I was talking to one of my friends about this the other day, and he asked me a question. He goes, well, what if that's not part of my belief system, right? And I said, okay, say dogs were not part of my belief system, or cats, or frogs. Frogs are not part of my belief system. And then, we're walking around somewhere in the tropics, and there's a bunch of frogs sitting on a log, right? Well, just because they're not part of my belief system doesn't mean the frog doesn't exist. The frog's also probably pretty aware of our existence as well. So, same exact thing goes for demonic entities. They don't care whether you believe in them or not. They know you're there, and that's all that matters. So, this is a pretty serious thing here that's going on. I think you guys are going to like how I approach this. Page up right there. Okay, so a little more to read through, not too much. By part one, I mean part one of, I believe this will be part 8 going up. And YouTube took down part 2, I believe. I violated some rule there. Who knows what it was, but I actually asked them to give me a detailed explanation about that, and they haven't. So now there's technically 7, but this will be part 8. You just won't have a part 2, that's all. That's also very true, unless I come up with something for paying the bills down. I'm going to be homeless here. They wrecked me so heavily irreparably damaged me. You know, the more I gave, the more they took. It just it doesn't make any sense how people can be so nasty. But you know, like I said, I have no fear of death. So I mean, if this is my time to go, it's my time to go. If it's not, it's not. But you know, you just gotta flow like a river in life. That's all you can do is make the best of it and do the best you can for people. And have a loving heart and be kind. Have faith in God. And that is the truth. I hope I can bring something to the world. The BS camp does not, just does not destroy. Before they really do kill me. Not kidding about that. Yeah, they've clearly wanted me dead for a long time. The things that they've done, I'm shocked I'm still alive, to be frank. But faith in God to keep me alive for some reason. Maybe this is what his plan for me was. Because you know, often at the times, you know, we have plans in our heart, but it's only God's plan that prevails. We cross our T's, dot our I's, do everything. You know, we have plans to be married. We have plans to be successful in business, work our asses off day and night, but. Not necessarily that's not part of God's plan or not, but apparently not, because if they were part of God's plan, then, when you love someone, it's supposed to mean something, not just be, spit on like it means nothing and turned on and off like a light switch. I wasn't raised that way, and I don't think my fiance Sonia was either, ex-fiance Sonia was either, but, I don't think that was her. I'm pretty sure she was possessed by a demon by the end of this. I think you'll be able to agree with me that that was a real good possibility that she was. So now we'll start the validation, mathematics-based verification of demonic entities, because math doesn't lie. It's pretty straightforward stuff here that I'm doing, and it's all going to be above board. Nothing I'm doing here is anything sketchy or any sleight of hand. I'm going to be very transparent about every step I take to get to this conclusion that you guys will see at the end. It's pretty phenomenal. Blows me away, actually. Some of the best things that I usually do are when I'm actually under pressure. So. And boy, has this been quite the pressure I've been put under. But like I said, I've run companies successfully. I've brought disruptive technology in the market successfully. But man, get involved with these guys that are all part of the guys and girls part of the BS camp. They're not good people at all. They will not stop, no matter what. I mean, even if you try and walk away and leave me alone, go away. You don't talk to them for 5 years. There they are, 5 years later, calling up your ex-fiancé or texting them while they're bedridden, recovering. And not even, we didn't even know at the time that we were heavily demonically infested, but we were, and I've got proof of it. I was before John, my best ex-best friend, former best friend, came to the house the third time. Around November 2019, I think is when it was. So this was well before then. And I went back and looked at other videos and images and things like this. All the way back to the Virgin Islands, actually, when we first met, when my ex-fiancé and I first met, and we took a trip there. And, it's so funny because had my eyes have not been changed the way they are, I would never even know this. No one would know this, and that's probably what's helped me to be able to do this, because I know what it is I'm looking for, you know, so I know what type of enhancements I need to do to apply. If you don't know that, you could be, I mean, you could be going through quadrillions of possibilities before you ever come up with something. So you really gotta pay attention to what's going on as I go through this. I think you'll start to see that that these things are, they're real. They can't not be real by the end of this. You'll see what I mean. So let's start with a simple vector plot. Now the reason why I'm doing this vector field here, this is just a little Mathematica script here, right? I should probably execute on that actually. No, I think it's already executed. No, it's not. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, good. Yeah, it's executed already. So, you know, this is basically just an example of kind of, you know, what sort of how they look like a giant wall, but not just a wall. They actually come at you in 3 dimensions, sort of like vectors all over the place. But the difference between these and the demons are all integrated and meshed together. I mean, they're just, it's amazing. I hate to say that about demons, but it's truly amazing what they do. And from the get-go, I've been trying to explain to everyone ever since my eyes got changed that they travel in like these large trains, these paths. I mean, I see them now, you know? I see them plain as day. Remember, eye color was changed, dark brown to blue in a matter of seconds. So something happened there. I'm not sure exactly what just yet, but yeah, no, this is kind of a static view. But imagine these being sort of merging and twisting and bending into each other. It's hard to explain because I could not figure out a way to do that in Mathematica with just simple vector field. But just kind of keep that in mind. You know, they go in all different directions, all over the place, right? Up, down, traveling towards you. That's the other thing too. Is in a picture, you're only going to see, you know, what I'm going to call the XY plane, right? Or maybe the XZ plane, whichever one you want to call it. But in reality, you know, they're sort of spherical. So they don't just travel up, down, sideways, and all kinds of these weird paths, right? Where you look at one and then 2 of them combine to form another one, but then the other one has got 5 of them within the eye. It's insane. You'll see what I mean here when we get to the end of this. So, anyways, vector field, just get your mind thinking in 3 dimensions about what these things do. Now, I tend to think in spherical coordinates, just studying physics my whole life, but this is just a little example of a spherical plot, right, in 3D that you can rotate around in Mathematica. That's pretty cool. There's a script for it right there. So just think about what these things would look like if they looked like something like this, right? Like shell layers coming out at you. Remember that one of the videos I showed you, that the angel versus the demon? It was sort of like pulsing light out spherically, right? It was quite amazing what it was doing, actually. And that they kind of are like spherical shells like this, and you can see the divisions of the light as it comes out. It's rather interesting because each division is a different character, a different demon, or a different angel, whatever. So it's pretty interesting how they operate like this. I mean, it's basically like an onion. You can look at it like peeling back onion shells, or peeling back layers of an onion, effectively. And this is just getting our minds. So now we've got the spherical side down onion shell. Now imagine what they would do, right, if we had them sort of merging into each other, not just along these paths this way, right, but also in rings this way, connecting like this in all directions, right? So they're just incredible. But the reason why I wanted to show this like little guys, because it's sort of indicative of like how they move on a path. Like if you were looking at one in space, let's say it was going you know, in that direction, right? they kind of get smaller, and then they get bigger, and then they start to get smaller again, right? So this is just sort of a mental exercise to imagine having faces that were perpendicular, looking outward to the surface, right? Or attached to tangential to the surface of these various curves on this plot. So think about that. Think about that, because what you're going to see is pretty intense. So here's just a little Mathematica script I was just testing. Make sure. Oh, by the way, that's me right there. So if we look at moving brightness slider or things like this around, or moving any of these sliders around, it should automatically change their properties. Yep. So that's good. Means that the imaging functions are working well. It's moving a little slow because I'm also recording the audio with a software package called Movavi, which I also use a photo editor, which is pretty cool. I'll be bringing that up here in a sec as well. But there's a lot. This notebook's got a lot of Mathematica script. Some pretty hardcore computational stuff. And that's the reason why it's probably going to run just a little bit on the sluggish side, but that's to be expected. So, cylindrical anamorphosis of parametric surfaces, right? Demons move in trains along paths or curves, right? But they also project onto an XY, X0, or YZ plane. Like, for example, that cylinder that we saw in the last video with, whatever that thing was, the light being that's in there. This is just another demonstration to show sort of what these things would look like if they were aligned along this path, or how might they project out of light, right? And what would it look like as it projects out of a cylinder, right? Or even a sphere. So I just took a cylinder because that white pillar of light was cylindrical, so I was just playing around, and you can adjust the size. You can also adjust. I'm gonna have to recompile this. Hold on one second. I'll find out here in a sec if it actually accepts it or not. Oh yeah, did good. Okay, so we can resize. We can move the vertical off. So yeah, I do have to recompile. Hold on one second. All right, so where's my initializations? And they're right there. Let's compile them. There's a white bunch down there, so we'll do this real quick. Compile, rebuild. These should work theoretically. Oh, it's not working for some other reason. I wonder why. That's kind of weird. Maybe it's not all the way built yet. Oh wait, that looks like it did something. Well, it's rotating it, but I don't see the sliders working. Let's see if we can change a torus. Now, why is that not executing? Oh, that one's broken. Sometimes that happens in code. This is an example just to show you kind of the way things project outwards, but we might come back to that in a bit. It's probably going to compile for a while in the background. The CPU is probably being utilized pretty heavily right now with the recording software as well, so I'll bet you anything that's probably got a lot to do with it. Well, anyways, we can at least see what this looks like. So we have a disc that's projecting out from the cylinder. You can see here what it would look like. And the cool thing about this is you can actually rotate, and it'll show you the deformation of the projection, which the physics of deformable objects is pretty intense stuff. That dates all the way back to Aristotelian philosophy, which is something I studied pretty heavily as well. Aristotle was amazing. let's see. I don't know. Maybe it's just broken. I screwed something up when I translated this over to a presentation style in Mathematica, because that should be manipulating all those, but it's not. That's all right. We'll go to the next slide. You guys get the point of what I was doing there. Let's go back one. There we go. Okay, so various image processing filters. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this out a little bit, make it a little bit bigger. That's probably too big. Let's see. Yeah, it should be good like that. A little bit smaller. There we go. So, I was playing around and, decided to put a bunch of these filters just to see what it did to the image, because this image I took had to have been around maybe August, I think, July, June, maybe even before then. Garage doors open. There's the SUV I bought in the background there, and then there's Sonia, my ex-fiance's bike. So I mean, she's at the house, obviously, and it's obviously not that cold out, so it must have been I guesstimate in the summertime, or it could have even been before I think it might have been before the summertime, like maybe spring coming into summer or something. Anyways, the funny thing is I was kind of looking through pictures, and I came across this one. It made me stop dead in my tracks. So I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" It went back that far as well, and then I kept going back further. Of course, what made me discover that was the picture of Rocky. I didn't even realize it at first until I looked at it again. And I was like, "Oh man, no way, no way!" Yeah, oh yeah. Just take a real hard look at that picture, and you tell me what you see in that picture. If you see anything that looks kind of off the wall or funny in there, because I've actually enhanced this just slightly, because I'm using the histogram transform, as you can see, and oh yeah, there's something there, all right. I'll point it out to you here in one sec, but let me go down and you can see some of the other stuff we can do here, like you do edge detects. We can look at let's see, color convert with HSV. Got a filling function in there as well, and each one of these will change the image slightly a different way, so it'll bring different things out. Color negates. Let's see what that does. That should do something different as well, and that's not working either. Let me see. Why are these things working right now? Maybe they're not. I'm not going to work in this mode. Let me see. Yeah, that's not changing to that, so I'm going to have to switch out of this mode. Go back into colorize. Yeah, let's go back. See, format, insert. It was in a format. Yeah, I got on slideshow. Let's go to working. Alright, back in working mode now. Let's see if these will execute. Never actually used the slideshow before, but we gotta try it out. Oh, yeah, they're black, so that means it's processing. And this one's still processing up here too. And it's trying to execute on the segments of code, so that one worked just fine up here. Those worked. I guess we just have to wait because the processor is being pretty heavily utilized right now, so it's probably bottlenecking. But we'll wait here a sec, and I'll just talk to you guys a little bit about something. So this picture, when I took it, I mean, yeah. I was in the garage working on my bike, and I remember I think she had called down because actually I think she was still bedridden, so it had to have been maybe May, April, May, something like that. I stuck by her side 100%, 100%, did not deviate. Helped her in the shower, made sure she had 3 meals a day, and gave her all my love that I could. And I also had to work my ass off at that time because there were some things that were happening that I was trying to put together that all got sabotaged by the BS camp heavily through trade data, market data manipulation, and things like this. I mean, these guys are. There's something else. I just don't even know what to say. But they, if the stuff happened to me, it could happen to any of you. That's for sure. And that's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this. Is I have too big of a heart to ever see this happen to anyone else. This has been torture. Seriously, torture. Yeah. See when these are still black over here. It means it's still executing. So what I might do is sometimes, let's see, maybe I should shut it down and then relaunch the notebook. Let's try doing that. Shut that down. Hold on, over PDA. So what's on? Let's say. Oh yeah, of course. I know. That's all right. Don't worry about it. PDA software. Yeah, we'll save on that. Sorry about this, you guys, but this happens. Murphy's Law, right when you go to give the presentation. So, let's give it a second. Yeah, you can see it's running really slow. Task manager in a sec. That is still hung there, huh? Oh, it's saving. That's right. Like I said, it's a really dense. They call them notebooks in Mathematica. So it's one that's dense with a lot of stuff in there. Neural, that's everything. It's pretty intense as we get toward the end here. The damn thing will shut down for me. Not responding. Yeah. There we go. All right, so let's try and do that again. So see, I've got that's still rolling, and we'll use 12.1 here instead of the finance platform. There we go, and launch that again. Oh yeah, that's taking a while to load in. Look at that. I'm going to click the pause button here on this recording for a second and come back once this gets loaded up so everyone's not sitting here waiting. Yep, sure enough, that was the issue. Something about being in presentation mode. So this is I just compiled this and it seems to be working just fine. So now you can see how it moves and how it changes with size, and you can adjust the vertical offset, and you can also adjust its angular rotation. You can see how it deforms as it rotates, right? So a little physics there for you. And then we can select different shapes as well and do the same exact thing, and we can change the axis of rotation as well to the x-axis, which will spin it in a different way. We'll spin it this way, right? So yeah, I mean, overall this is just a concept I had about, because the paths about how these demons, they link together, or they bend and they twist into each other and things like this, as you'll see as we get toward the end here. So that's primarily the reason why I did this, but it's pretty cool. because that's sort of how they deform into each other. They just warp into each other. It's rather interesting. We come down here and we should be able to compile this now. That should work just fine. Yeah, we're working now. Okay, good. So let's make this a little bigger. There we go. And we can select various types here, like I was saying. So let's go try, let's do the pruning one. And different functions do different things, obviously. These are just standard image enhancement functions that are built into the Mathematica image enhancement library, so you can execute on these pretty quickly. But if you look around as I change through this, you'll see how it kind of adjusts the image in different ways. Like we do a color quantize, right? That's an interesting one right there. Or we can do a color negate, which will give us the negative, right? And there's definitely stuff in there. Yeah, I mean, I see him plain as day now. And you will too in just a bit. So let's see. Let's look at image correlate with Gaussian. That's always a pretty good one. And so is the filling transform. Let's grab that one. So you guys been able to find anything or see anything in there? I'm just curious, because there is something really big in there actually, and it's quite interesting. How I never noticed it before is because, like I said, if you don't know what to look for, you would never even know that they're there. You just wouldn't even know. But I mean, that entire garage, the entire garage is just completely flooded with demons. Even on my hat, flooded with demons all around me, on my hat, everywhere. You know, and the same thing with our bedroom. I got a picture of our bedroom. Sonny was laying down there, just everywhere, and I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. What is going on here? So it's pretty intense. And you know, like I said, for the first time I was able to use mathematics to prove their existence. But I'm going to show you something in the background here. You see that right there? Got eyes, nose, mouth. He actually comes all the way. There's also one there. There's a real ghostly one right here. There's an eye, there's a nose. And oh, look at over here. There's a Mr. Fugly right there. The eye, and the mouth. Here, I'll do this. I'll grab a drawing tools here. That might help. There we go. So we'll just grab, let's see, grab an arrow. And I'll show you Fugly's eyes. That's one of his eyes right there. His other eye is sort of hidden up behind these things, but that's his other eye right there. And where's Fugly's mouth? Fugly's mouth is right. I'll have to move this cylinder here, or not cylinder, ellipse. Right about right there. And I'll rotate that just slightly like that, and make it just slightly bigger. And that would be Fugly's mouth right there. So you can see his image there, but oh boy, you're going to see him way better than that. And you can even see a little trace coming along the wall here. You see an image right there. Looks like a totem pole going all the way up from the bottom, right? And there's even some along the floor right here in an arc. And there's some across the top right in here. If you see, there's a cut edge line, eye, mouth. Look at the eye right there. And the eye here, let me get another arrow here to show you guys. Yeah, just changed perspective again. Yeah, they changed perspective quite a bit. Let's see. There's one eye right there. And there's another eye right there. And let's Let's get his mouth. You guys have perspective on this. Don't move the image, I want to move that. There we go. And there's the mouth right there. And he's actually, or it is part of a big chain that comes all the way across and comes down. There's sort of, oh, there's another one right there. You see that one? Let's point him out. Looks like another fugly group member with a big mouth. Yeah, he's got a big mouth. Oh, don't move the image, come on. There's his mouth, right. Let me just get back from the screen just a little bit. Right, he's kind of right in the center of that. His mouth just goes just like this. You can see Fugly right here with his nasty teeth right there, you know. And then if you look carefully at this one, you can see there's a row going all the way to the back there. He actually comes all the way in down here. Well, that's a pretty ghostly one. You guys might have trouble seeing that one, but I'll point him out. There's one eye. There's the other eye right there. And that's his mouth right there. So you see that one as well? That's pretty ghostly. You may have to step back from your screen just a little bit to actually see that one, because it's he's tough. He's pretty ghostly image there. Got another one right here, down low. You got another one right in here. And you got this one right here. That's the main one that I was like, how the heck did I not see that before? Well, I just don't even think to look for it. That's the reason why. I mean, you don't think there's freaking demons surrounding all over the damn place. Welcome to the lair of the slithering snakes of the BS camp. Oh, there it is right there. It's fun. He's kind of a funny looking guy, actually, you know. If I would have known that they were all around there like that, I probably started swinging in the air at everything I could fucking look, I could see, but nonetheless, we'll keep moving forward. So one of the other functions here, optimizing tone separation in still photos. Right now, we can also do this in real time with video, especially in Mathematica 12. But let's make sure that this is executed. There it is. I'll clear this cell down here so we don't use unnecessary memory. And you know, it's got just random images in here and stuff that we can, you know, you can choose from, whatever, different ones, peppers, whatever. And what this will do is take and split it down into 4 different tone separations, and then do a composition of the 4 tone separations. And you can adjust, you know, the tone separations and the composition by coming over here and just kind of, they all sort of interact together, you know. But then if you want to look at the optimal positive, say for example, you just click on optimize, and it will optimize it automatically for you. So it's kind of an automated routine that I do utilize. These are all the bits and pieces that went in to making this happen. It's pretty intense, actually. Sharpening filters are pretty commonly used for images that maybe have a lot of distortion or things like this. In particular, there's a fugly right there. You see him with his mouth right there. There's an eye. You guys have seen this image before. There's his other eye right there. And then there's another fugly, big mouth right there, and there's an eye, and then you got another one, the eye, and then you've got a line of demons right here. There's 1, There's a 2. There's a 3, 4, 5, 6 stacked there that I can see right now, on top of each other. One looks like a wolf sitting on the top, but then the wolf actually turns into another demon. They go up, down, sideways, crooked ways, slant ways, every way you could think of, right? But the sharpening filter is pretty cool because, as you see, if I move this thing all the way out, you know, it's not as easy to see the image here, right? You can see something of an image, but if I sharpen up the filter to get that eye to come out a little better, then we'll see what it does. See that? There's the eye, sharpened. Now it's not quite as easy to see. I mean, it's sort of hazy in there. Sharpened, non-sharpened, and sharpened, right? The other thing, too, that you probably notice now is a wing. See this big wing going way up in there like that and coming down? Yeah, those are the wings that come off of his ugly face. Right there. Wings. Nasty looking demon. Yuck. Look at those nasty teeth right there. I mean, if I saw him, I'd go up and knock him right in the mouth. So, if you want to look at, you know, the result only across the whole thing, click on result only, and then it'll give you the full result. Like that. See that? See how it really brings them out nicely, actually, and the edges too. So, sharpening filter right there. And then, this is another method of image enhancement. It's called a morphing filter process. So, here's little snippets of example code, and we can go to side-by-side comparison again, and we can look and see what that does. Now I want you to watch how you have opening, closing, dilation, and erosion. Dilation kind of makes it bigger. Erosion, obviously making it a little smaller, right? And then opening and closing. So these are all different modes you can select from. And if you have an image that's really, really green and needs to be smoothed out, these tend to work pretty good, but opening on this isn't doing us too much justice. Closing, not so much. Dilation. Yeah, I brought that into focus pretty good, actually. There's an interesting image right there. Come back up to that real fast. Hold on. See the eye, the nose, the mouth right there. And there's a demon right there. Eye. This is a demon too, actually. And erosion as well. Take a look and see what that does. That's going to change the image. Now you notice how it's no longer that same face. Now we've got this face here. Eye, nose, and there's his mouth right there. Nasty demon. There's like a wolf-looking dog thing that's got his teeth submerged, and then there's this other one underneath him that's a demon that goes like this with eyes. So they're all sort of merged and integrated together there, as you can see. It's rather interesting, you know, rather interesting. So if we come down here next, this is Finsler Hadwiger. It's basically a theorem that I'm thinking about using for the predictive analytics for demon families and their train gang, and this just allows me to adjust the size of various shapes and objects and squares, and I could rotate it throughout all the quadrants and see how they form, because that's sort of what they look like when they form. They kind of get smaller to bigger. They're more like that more than anything, right? So they sort of just form out of each other in this weird way, and then hook into each other. So just something to play around with there. And then tracking an object in space is the Kalman filter. Now what I did this for example for was more for to show you how we can track like an orb, right, and its tail, and how we would track that. So this is really meant more for celestial type mechanics, or satellites in space, in orbit, and things like this. So if you come down here, actually worked on the Patriot missile project. Come down here and you look, its orbit is still messed up. That's pretty funny. So I can move Earth like way over here, and that thing is going to go shooting up and kind of bye-bye astronauts. If Earth suddenly shifted way up here, right? And it's basically just using it on gravitation and stuff, so I can bring it in there and accelerate it right around the Earth. Boom. It's kind of like a video game. So you can see the big tail there, right? Mapping data points. And that's exactly what I was thinking is, we can do this with satellites in orbit. We can certainly do it with an orb, running around my basement, or several of them, I should say, or that big white sphere, things like this. And, the thing about this is it's kind of funny because we have a pretty intense concept of physics, and every person that studies physics goes through these thoughts where you have a rate of change, right? A derivative, as we call it, derivative of x with respect to time. Then we've got a second derivative, which is acceleration, as we all know, right? So that's a rate of change of a rate of change, right? Just conceptually, that's kind of hard to grasp sometimes when you think about that. The rate of change of a rate of change, right? And that's effectively what the second derivative is, acceleration. So gravity is an acceleration, the force due to gravity. And then we've got third derivative, which is the rate of change of a rate of change of a rate of change, and the fourth derivative, the rate of change of a rate of change of a rate of change. But I mean, by the time I get to the fourth one, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll just use it as theory. That's a tough one to grasp. What is the fourth derivative? That's not easy to conceptualize, but this one nonetheless does use a fourth derivative. Okay, so now I'm going to pull open the Movavi photo editor, so you can see that little cutout right there was actually edited in Movavi photo editor, and it was not something that I pasted in. I think that's important to be transparent about everything here, so no one thinks that there's any funny business. I'm not the BS camp. I live in the real world. Okay, so I was opening this image up. That was the last one. So you see the cutout right there, right? So I was doing some image enhancements over here on this cutout is what I was doing. So that's it's from this image, right? There's nothing that I've added in there. In fact, if I think I can control Y through this, it might bring up some of the changes if I keep going up. Let's see where that's at. Yeah. So you can see it's not that I did any craziness. I'm not trying to pull anyone's leg. Like I said, this is going to be a 100% full-on transparent, no BS. Yeah, I don't believe in that BS. That BS is for the BS camp. So take a look right there at that image actually for a second. Tell me what you see along the top row. See anything that looks like sardine canned demon? That's kind of what they look like. It's like they're all laying up in a sardine can or something. Yeah, there's quite a few heads there. You'll see what those are in a sec. So anyways, just for transparency, that's where that came from. So I did a little image enhancement in here first. So we'll exit out of this program now. Make sure I'm exiting out of the right one. Yep. And I'd like to save changes, discard, close that down. There we go. Okay, so back here again. And now that you understand that, I go through a series of image focus combines where I took various filters and layers and then would recombine them and adjust the magnitude. And you can start to see this come out. You start to see this come out over here. I start to see some other things coming out. It's kind of a ghostly image. And this one, you start to see this guy coming out right down here. He's a really strong image right there, or it, I should say. And you can obviously see the row of demons across here. Look at those. Look at that. infested by demons, man. I mean, those images just don't appear at random because you apply an image filter, right? No, that's not the way it works. Yeah, no, those are demons that were surrounding me. And when you see how many there actually are, when I get to the end of this, you're going to realize how nasty, evil, twisted, disgusting, and how much of a disgrace to the human race anyone that is a member, or anyone that believes in, or anyone that listens to, anyone that follows, anyone that's an affiliate of, or anyone that's a new member of, I don't care, anyone that does any of those people are disgusting. I mean, they should all be slammed behind bars for life. This is not a joke. I got kids, this isn't funny. I mean, who the hell who sits there and goes, yeah, let's stick thousands of demons on Jerry until he goes nuts and blows his brains out or something, or we'll stick thousands of demons on Jerry so he runs around and tells everyone, oh yeah, my house is infested by demons, man, and then, we'll go and we'll whack him and make it look like a suicide, which is probably what they're planning on doing. But they forgot one little part about me, and that's that I am a hardcore scientist, physicist, and I've been studying science, math since I was a kid. I started RPI at the age of 13, and this is not my first rodeo in technology, and I've used Mathematica pretty heavily as well. And no one, it's kind of funny, I talked to one of my points of contacts at Mathematica the other day, and he was like, you're working on what? And I went through the project with him, and he was kind of laughing. He was like, I think you'd probably be much happier if you were working on this other over here. And I started showing him some of the stuff, and he seemed to be starting to understand what I was trying to do. And he also said that I should get some independent people over at my house. Well, it turns out probably won't be in my house much longer anyways, but I mean, I hope I'm in there, but yeah, I'd have to receive a hell of a lot of donations for me to keep my house really soon, and I don't think that's going to happen. So basically they or what he said was that an independent like paranormal researcher, I've contacted two different firms, and both of them just disappeared. Like they won't call me back, or if they do text me back, it's very cryptic, or they get excited about something, and then I get excited about it, and then we try and actually have a phone call to set up a meeting time at the house, and it just never happens. And that also kind of worries me, because that's an effector of the BS camp as well. So who knows? Maybe they got to them. I have no idea. I would hope not. But it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, these guys don't want anyone interrupting with their little demonic entities that are supposed to kill me, right? Or are supposed to try and drive me to commit suicide, or are supposed to, let them come over and kill me and make it look like a suicide. Whatever the hell their plan is, there's going to be no suicide. Certainly if they try to kill me, I guarantee you there's something called Make My Day law, and I will utilize that law to my fullest advantage if they come near me or walk inside my house or do anything like that. They'll wish they didn't. I'll use I don't need a gun or anything like that. I'll just go up and wreck them. But the thing here is, these are demons, man. Like, if you can't see those lined up across the top row, go get your eyes checked there, buddy, because there are plenty of us. 1, 2, and then they kind of squeeze in. See, that eye becomes the eye of the next one. 4, and then this is actually a demon here, an eye, a mouth, right? But then this is a demon. It's left eye becomes the right eye of this. You see what I mean? They're weird, man. They're really weird. But this is nothing compared to what I'm going to show you coming up. And as you can see with this filter already, we're starting to see this line come out a little bit better as well. There's image right there. Big image. Eye right there, an eye right there, nose. There's his mouth, big one there. There's actually quite a lot of big ones all over here. You almost got to step away from your monitor and look at more of a global picture. But we come down again, and I filter it again by taking the HDR image exposure combined, and that brings them out even better. That starts looking like a human face sitting right there at the garage, right? So then we got, let's see, the color tone mapping. This was the function that I was showing you up above, where you combine and you optimize the tonal balance. So that's what this does. And again, it's making things pop a little more. I even see a line coming in right here now. Another new line coming in there. There's one right in here. There's actually one here below it. There's one up here. And then these going up and down combine to form bigger ones, right? So it's like, you'll see what I mean here pretty soon. It's fascinating. Artists couldn't draw this, man. You know, there's no way. And then we finally take a color balance and histogram transform, and that histo transform really made it pop. You can see the images there. I mean, you could almost see like skin color on these ones. It's rather interesting. And I mean, you can see the demon right here. There's a little eye, mouth. He kind of looks like he's almost blue right there. But then there's a bigger one right next to him. And then there's a big one that's made out of both of them, with an eye, a nose, and a mouth, right? And you also got them across the floor here. If you look across the floor, there's a little arc of them. There's edge lines there, edge line there. Believe it or not, there are so many. I was blown away when I see them very clearly now, but not like what this is going to show you guys. It was pretty incredible. So here's the edge detection. Just wanted to see. Okay, well now let's do an edge detection and see what we get. Well, it definitely got the edges of these guys up here. You can almost see kind of their mouths going across, some of their eyes, right? And then it also got, this line. There's a face there. There's a face turned sideways. There's a face looking that way. There's one. Here's one right here, right? Right in here is his eye looking out that way. So you got this guy. And you got this one up against the wall here. And then the funny thing is, I started noticing that they're on my hat too, and I'm like, oh great. I mean, these things are, I don't even know how to explain to you how they do what they do, but they do. It's rather remarkable. You got another one right here. There's an eye coming up this way, eye coming up that way on the edge detect. Fascinating. Oh, there's Fugly right there. Fugly eye, Fugly's big mouth. Mr. Fugly. And then we come down here and we do another image line, and we end up taking a different type of edge detect, and you'll see why I'm doing that. And then we bring the foreground down so that it's only 15% foreground and 85% background, right? So now we're just detecting edge on the background using a different, even different methodology. And we go back to image line. I'll apply the morphological binarize, right? Morphology is a really interesting way of doing image enhancements. I use a lot of morphological filtering throughout this whole thing. So, and then we have color separate, right? Which I do it this way for a reason. Back to image align, and then we take the color quantize, which really starts to bring these things out. Look what that color quantize did. I mean, you see the demon face here. There's an eye. There's a mouth right there. You see the one just above him. Eye, nose, mouth right there, right? And of course, you see this guy right here. And then he just comes all the way back like this. And you see a row coming in this way. Of course, these guys are really starting to come out now as well. I mean, if you can't see those faces lining across there, I mean, it's you probably wouldn't be able to see. You probably wouldn't be able to see them anyway. So, and look at Fugly over here. Fugly looks amazing. Look at those teeth. Nasty teeth on Fugly. There's eyeball 1, eyeball 2. Now you can really see eyeball 2 really well, and eye 1 really well too. Now if you go to my garage, you take a snapshot of that area, there's nothing that looks like that. Nothing at all. Not even close. And we got another one up here. Big mouth, eye. Wing coming out this way, so that's another family member of Mr. Fugly's. Big Fugly right there. And then we got, let's see, one right here. There's an eye. I mean, you can see the definitive eyes, right? There's an eye there and an eye there. There's his mouth. You can see him coming in. And then you got one that's even around him that's bigger. That's a row that's coming in this way, right? And you got that row that merges into this lower row right here. Face, 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 face. And then you've got a row here that actually comes down this way. They go in every freaking direction all over the place. Then you got this guy up here that's got the big nose like Pinocchio, right? Big nose. Eye. There's his mouth right there hanging out. Then you got this totem pole looking dude coming all the way down, stacked up on top of each other. So you can see they're there. I mean, shit. I mean, that's practically a breakthrough moment right there, because I mean, just to be able to see this face here, that eye, and that nasty mouth looking right at me. You know, like yeah. What are you gonna do, punk? Come on and show me those teeth. I'll knock them down your throat. So let's see. Then we got Image Line. You see, they don't scare me, man. You know, whatever. I don't care how spooky they look. You know, I mean, actually, they look more ugly than spooky to me. I've seen them face to face. I mean, literally face to face. I've reached out and I told you one time. I swear I felt him wiggle. I grabbed him by his horn. And I told him, I said, "You come around me again, you little bitch, I'm gonna crack your horn off your head." So, you know, you can't be scared of these things. That's one thing I gotta tell you. Show no fear. Never give in to fear. I mean, I had them 2,000 thick circling in on me one time. Probably more. In the garage. I mean, if I would have been able to see him back then, which I wish I would have, possibility I may have been able to save you know, the wedding. It's just so sad because she had no idea. I had no idea this was, you know, how are we supposed to know we're getting demonically attacked, let alone from day one? It's disgusting. Anyone that would do that to someone is seriously mentally ill. You know, they probably don't need to go to jail. They probably need to be locked up in an insane asylum and given a lobotomy. But yeah, actually, the funny thing is, I actually know who they are that did it too. Names are unimportant right now. What's important is that everyone knows what to look for here. And so this next step here is a colorization, right? So I colorized it based on the intensity distribution and also based on the objects. You see the green balls of green, blue balls of blue, green balls of green. So we did a simple detect object there, and it seems to be working pretty good. And then I took another contour detect just to see if it's detecting the contours, and sure enough it was. All the way here, there's an image there, there's an image there, image there, image there, all the way across, and then you see him across the floor here, right? You see the little lines right there, right there, right there, and then you see him coming across this way. So it's definitely doing it, and you see the contours in between them here as well. You know, there's the eye, the nose, the mouth, right? So the next thing I want to do is basically put this into a data set so we could start doing some neural network training on these and see what comes out. So, you know, put the data into an array, pretty simple stuff there. And now we're going to use neural nets to look for patterns in large data set. And the first thing that you want to do when you're doing that, if you've got a GPU, is switch to a GPU, because right now it's still on CPU, and I gotta tell you, CPUs suck balls compared to GPUs, man. GPUs will smoke a CPU on these types of computations. I don't even know why Mathematic even enables anyone to use a CPU. It should just all go straight to if it takes a GPU, screw the CPU. You know, GPUs will smoke. GPUs will smoke a CPU any day of the, by a huge factor, orders of magnitude faster in their computations. So this is something interesting. So transfer style of one image into another different style. So what I wanted to do was take the contour plot in various edge plots that I did, or I should say edge detects that I did, and then sort of combine them together in a way that it gave me an image that looks like the colorized image, but it's a contour or an edge detect image, right? And this actually here's where the magic really comes into focus, as you'll soon see. So to create image is a mix of both these images. We start by obtaining a pre-trained image classification network, right? So, you can use whatever you want here. This one's the BGG16, trained on ImageNet. And then take a layer that will be used as a feature extractor for the style and content of images, right? Then, and this is all simplistic stuff. I mean, just one lines all the way down. We'll get down to the fun stuff. This is just looking at all the various lost content, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 lost content. And then we need to define a function that creates the final training, right? So basically, after it goes through several passes, the function is going to create a random initial image that's going to compare and see, did it learn correctly or did it not learn correctly? I mean, it's pretty, brainless stuff here. So simple neural nets is like neural net for grade schoolers. And then we define a net decoder for visualizing the predicted image, right? Simple. The training data set consists of features extracted from the content and style images. Define a feature extraction function. Bada bing, bada boom. Then create a training set consisting of a single example of content and style feature, right? So this is when we start to get into the nitty gritty of this neural net. So now we're going to create the training net whose input dimensions correspond to the content and style image dimensions. All right, obviously we got to make sure everything matches up. And next we're going to optimize the image using what's called net train. It's a mathematical function. Learning rate multipliers are used to freeze all parameters in the net except for the constant array layer. So basically the training is best done on the GPU for this stuff, like I said, because it's going to really hammer down hard. And I've already done the evaluation, but I think since it's offloading the GPU on the target here, I should be able to target the GPU even right now. See, it should be able to recompute, I think, without a problem. Yep, there it is, recomputed. So here we go. Extract the final image from the constant array layer. Now, you guys, I'm going to show you what the conclusion is of this work. And I'm going to let you guys take a good maybe 5-10 minutes to take a look at that, because, ladies and gentlemen, that is the first time ever real demons have been exposed in this way. That is what was surrounding me in my garage in the summer, way before. And it's gotten 1,000 times as intense at my house than that right there. Now just imagine that. Imagine 1,000 times the intensity of that. That's what the BS camp have done to me. They're sick, twisted people. It's like, what? Don't you think one demon's bad enough? You got to conjure the entire, all of hell to open up a portal and have them come into my house and destroy me in every direction, you bastards. Destroy my relationship, destroy my friendships, destroy my businesses, destroy everything. That's what they've done. This right here is mathematics and physics proof of demonic existence, because if you cannot see all the pathways integrating into it, just sit there and look at that for a bit. I'm going to shut up for a second and just look at that. And you will see what I mean by when I say, well, if that was there in September, August, September, maybe July, maybe even before. No, actually, no. It's April and May time frame. Then chances are that, when it really picked up, I mean, really picked up, I'd be willing to bet anything that Sonia, my ex-fiance, was possessed by a demon, and so was my ex-best friend John, because the way they acted and the way they tried to torture, the violence that they came at me with is insane. It's mentally insane. I mean, it's beyond mentally insane. It's demonic. Yeah, and something else I need to point out: if you stand back away from your monitor, you'll see the bigger images, like fairly big. But as you come in closer, you see the medium size, and then as you get in like really close, you see the little guys. I mean, the way they integrate and interlace is just amazing. Now you're starting to understand why in the beginning I tried to get your heads thinking, in three dimensions, about how these things might align to a path along a surface, right? Mathematically, and that'll be easy for us to do. I've got some ideas, and I'm going to go through that toward the end here about constructing the various paths and then mapping that onto a sphere, the linearized paths. So you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And the reason for that is because we're looking at a plane right now. We have to think about these things in three dimensions, right? They also project out of the plane. So imagine them radially projecting like that in all directions spherically. It's absolutely insane when you think about what I'm saying, but that's what they do. I mean, I can see them plain as day. So like I said, I've been demonically infested through black magic and witchcraft by a group of people who's tried to steal my intellectual property. They've ripped me off for my personal possessions. They've literally taken my entire life away from me. And if I'll tell you, if it happened to me, it happened to you guys too, man. That's why I'm doing this, because I spent night and day and night, nonstop. That's the way I am. When I start a project, my ex-fiance, all my friends, everyone will tell you, I do not. I don't care if it takes 5 years. I do not leave until I have succeeded in that project. Success, meaning I have completed it and it's ready to go, or I've executed a license deal, or I'm about to execute a license deal, or whatever it might be. I don't fail, because I won't let myself fail. The BS camp cannot stand that about me. They torched my ship 4 times. I had to rebuild with a new vision and bring on new team members. Raise more money to try and make it happen. And instead, these little bastards turn around and say I stole money when I'm the one that was loaning the money to the company. I mean, that's really that's screwed up, man. That's framing me for doing what they did. So they torture me, and then they frame me and say that the things that they were doing to me, I was actually doing, and then they get the SEC to lie and slander me in the press. I mean, the more facts I showed the SEC, the more material facts I showed them to prove my innocence, the more they turned their head and made up lies and bullshit. The FBI sits there on their ass, doesn't do a damn thing about it, turns their head the other way. They haven't done shit. 2 years ago, they could have stopped this. They could have stopped this, man, They didn't stop shit. They just sat there on their fat asses and did nothing. Just like the local law enforcement did when I reported all the stuff stolen. Sat there on their fat asses and did not a damn thing. Now I'm sitting here about ready to get kicked out of my house. It's complete, utter bullcrap. All right? So, I mean, I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but, math doesn't lie. All right? That is not a lie. Those are clearly demons. And if you can't see them in there, like I said, you definitely got to go get your eyes checked because there's so many of them intertwined again, and that's what I see. Like I said, but it's not just in two dimensions. They also go out of the page towards you. So I mean, it's like I said. Imagine if that's what was happening back in April, May time frame, when we didn't even know they existed. I mean, they're sitting there, looking at me with a look of death. Like they want to chomp my freaking head off. And I mean, who knows? I mean, Sonny and I, we went through ups and downs, no doubt about it. The BS camp, I mean, clearly they were affecting me too because they had me working my freaking ass off, man. Working, nonstop, 24, sitting in front of my computer, falling asleep in front of my computer, waking up, falling asleep in front of my poor fiancée, she was starting to get, frustrated. I wasn't coming to bed. You should worry about my health, and things like this. And I'm like, well, shit, what am I supposed to do? Just let them come in and wreck? I've got to work because clearly they're sabotaging everything. They've sabotaged my trades. And then they turned everyone around against me. I don't know how. See, I could never figure out how they were doing that. And now I know. Demons can traverse through electronics. They can do all kinds of stuff, So, whatever they were doing, I have a funny feeling that because I got to tell you, it's pretty blatantly obvious when you show video evidence of things to someone that, when you add four numbers together, they don't add up correctly, or that something is offset by, 5,000 plus, like the open P&L balance, that will clearly screw up any automated robot. And why did this happen, Why did this happen? Why is it that all of a sudden everyone turns their head again? It's the BS camp modus operandi. When people just disappear, they don't talk to me, or they all of a sudden switch gears and it's like went from happy, everything's going great, to I'm like, well, what exactly occurred? And what part of this are you not seeing? That's the video evidence I'm showing to you guys. So let's band together and make sure that this brokerage, this broker-dealer firm pays everyone back and da-da-da. And, I had video evidence. And, when I went to talk to TradeStation, the person, the client who was using my bots, turned his back against me and went on their side. I mean, I'm sitting here spending money fighting to try and prove to these people with no simple proof that, and for 5 months straight this went on. And I couldn't leave my computer because that's the kind of person I am, man. Like if something goes wrong, I'm gonna make sure that I stay loyal and I do what I'm supposed to do and prove that there's some wrongdoing here. And that's exactly what I did. I mean, mathematically, it's pretty simple. But in the compliance of this firm comes back and goes, well, the developer needs to understand his software better. Kind of like a smack in my face. I'm like, you need to understand my software better. What the hell are you talking about, you fool? The software wasn't even loaded on the fucking computer when it was showing the open P&L balance was offset. And then he, what the guy said something like, well, it could have been a registry issue. I'm like, yeah, we thought that too. That's why we loaded it on a new server. I spun up a new server in the AWS cloud and loaded the software on a new server. I didn't even have my software loaded, and still it was showing the offset. They were just full of shit. And then he goes, well, it's been 5 months. What can we do now but speculate? I'm like, are you kidding me? For 5 months, I've been practically screaming at you guys to get on the phone here so I can show you this stuff. Now 5 months later, you finally get on the phone with me and you tell me it's been 5 months. All you can do is speculate? What kind of bullshit is that? And then I'm telling you right now, that's when you know the BS camp have struck again. Because they are so full of shit. All right? And they will do this to you because they know people. All right? They know people. Clearly, the FBI would have busted their ass and had them in prison a long time ago, and I would probably be married right now. But unfortunately, the FBI sat on their fat ass and the SEC lied, and they still run around using that stupid SEC press release. And the only reason why they did that is because I would not bend over, take it up the ass, and hand over my life's research to them. Well, you know what? Fuck them. They will never get it. Now, they've already stolen it, but they're never going to get the patents, and that's what they need to keep their ass from going to jail, because that's called IP theft. And IP theft is yet another thing that the FBI is supposed to investigate And what have they done? Nothing. Criminal racketeering, what's happening to me, like on steroids. You know what the criminal statute is for criminal racketeering? The statute for criminal racketeering is that it has to be the same group of people, directed in the same way at the same person. It has to happen 2 times over a period of 10 years. I laughed my ass off. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? That would be like a day at the spa for me. Shit, 2 times a period. Try more like 100 times a freaking day. These people are nuts, all right? And by the fact that the feds aren't doing anything about it, the SEC is lying through their teeth still. And, you know, that just tells me right there that these guys are corrupt as hell. And, you know, it needs to be disclosed, because if this ever happens to any of you guys, and I'll tell you what, there's a good possibility it could. You know, because they feel that they could just come in my house anytime they want. You know, they could probably walk in there with a gun and blow me away right in front of the cops, and the cops would turn their head the other way. But the fact of the matter is, you know, that's a disclosure that needs to be made worldwide. The entire world needs to know that this could happen to them. This is bullshit. You know what? Because I didn't just, you know, oh, here you go, here's the you know, sorry, I worked my whole life to develop this. Here, you get to have it, and I don't get shit. You know, fuck you. Yeah, right. Dream on. They're freaking nuts if they think that. And the other thing too that I have to say about that is the way they recruit people is hideous. It's hideous. I mean, they gang up on one person. Poor Sonny. I mean, they ganged up on her from every freaking direction known to man. And then I thought about it. I'm like, well, what about my, you know, my business partner, you know, Jerome? And so, well, what happened? Oh, he's affected by it too, because he came to my house. And I've noticed anyone that came to my house, Steve, Luke, Joe, Jerome, anyone that came to my house that turned their backs against me, you know what? And Sonya did say it one time before. She said, you know what, dude? You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to make you look like a clown so no one will do business with you. I'm like, yeah, no shit. I said, I want you to remember that. I want you to remember you said that. Of course, she didn't remember shit. All she did was lie through her teeth, tried to file a temporary restraining order against me, saying I was a danger to her life. She's like, I'm a danger to children, and I'm a sociopath, and all this other bullcrap that she spewed. And then, you know, the judge saw right through her like an X-ray, denied her TRO, and or lifted the TRO, and then denied her a motion for a permanent restraining order. I'm like, a permanent? What are you talking about, dude? She stole half my... Are you kidding me? And then I realized what was going on. I'm like, wait, it's probably not Sonya sitting right there, because... And then, sure enough, man, the demon in her came out. She shot up out of her chair and lunged at Amber, my ex-wife, who was there, because she also lied about her in her little court documentation. I guarantee you right now, the people that were behind that were Megan McDevitt, Kathleen Pirelli, Walter Horat. You know, if you know any of those names, Megan McDevil, Kathleen Pirelli Zucchetta. She stole $300,000 from me, then bolted to France and got married to a guy named Patrick Zucchetta. And then we've also got Walter Horat, who practices black magic and witchcraft pretty heavily. And I'm quite confident that he's probably, you know, I just loaned the guy, what, $2,500 because he was threatening he was going to jump off the bridge and commit suicide. And I just couldn't have that type of disruption in my team, because I gave him a second chance to come on, hired him on as a software dev, sent him some money, and then he turned around and started bad-mouthing me to the team and trying to turn the team against me, just like he did when he was with my other company. So I was like, no, I'm not playing that anymore. Get lost. Get out of here. Don't come back. I don't want to talk to you anymore. And, he made a statement to me at the end there that told me point blank he was full on BS camp. So, it's pretty clear what's going on here. I'm just telling you guys, this could happen to any of you, and if it does, you better know how to detect this stuff quickly. You better know what to do quickly. And I'll tell you, the most important thing is to have faith in God. Well, that'll save yourself. That's not going to save your loved ones or your family, because the fact of the matter is, once they get bitten by the venom of the BS camp demonic poison, I mean, there's no turning back. I don't care who you are. I don't care how powerful you think you are. I cried and I begged. I mean, literally cried and begged. Please don't do it. You don't understand. They just looked at me and shit on my face and walked away, and then turned around and started taking sucker punches at me and kicking me while I was down. And that there's only one group on the face of this planet that would do that, and that's the BS camp. Because why? Because I would not let them get away with IP theft. All right? Remember that. All right? It had nothing to do with anything I did. Anything I did. Now, I'm not perfect. Of course, I've done wrongdoings before. And if the SEC comes after you, they cast a net so wide, you could be Jesus Christ walking on water. They'd find a problem with you, you know? So, yeah, I admitted to my mistakes. Right there at the SEC, I said, yeah, in hindsight, I probably could have done that a little bit differently, I suppose. But how does that violate securities laws exactly? And they bend and twist things and make mountains out of molehills and lie and cheat and do all kinds of bullshit. My big day in court I was supposed to have where I could actually disclose the truth never happened. That's why I'm appealing to the little bitches right now. But I tell you right now, man, even if it's not the SEC, it could be someone else. Whatever it might be, there's something happening that's out there right now, you guys. And it's a disclosure I need to make. And it's something that I believe could be a possibility. I can't prove it yet, but just keep your eyes out, all right? And that's that... I believe there's a possibility COVID-19 is a smoke and mirror. And it's real. It's killing people, yeah. But it's smoke and mirror. Think about it. Let's get every family put together and make sure that they stay in one place. One place. All right? Why? What would they do that for? Well, of course, the social gathering and things like that. But, at the same time, everyone's still out running around anyways. We all know that. I'm not. I'm sitting in front of my computer trying to save the world from these damn demons. But the fact of the matter is, I've seen things, and they're spreading. I've seen them in other people's homes. I've seen them all over, actually, to be frank. Because remember, I can see these things like no other now. Something changed my eyes. I had to go through excruciating pain for this, but that's it might be a gift. Who knows? I don't know what it is. All I know is the fact that there may be a much bigger danger that's on the loose. Who knows when it's going to strike? I think the BS camp are one of many criminal racketeering clubs. They're probably all banded together. A little Illuminati Freemason bullshit, Cracker Jack box, magic book tricks that they do. But whatever the hell they're doing, just be on the lookout, and that's where I come in. So the objective here is to build this into an automated software platform, right? In other words, you'll be able to take images or video, load them into one of my servers, assuming I'm actually still alive and not dead in the street. I'll probably be homeless by Wednesday. But aside from that, if you guys actually think with your heads now, right? This might be something that, no one has ever done this before. I'll tell you, I even talked to the people at Mathematics, like, Jerry, no one's ever used Mathematics for paranormal stuff. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm going to. And I'm going to prove to the world that these things exist. And I'm going to prove to the world that there's actual real danger of them. My entire life has been completely destroyed by these sons of bitches and their little demonic infestation. So we'll keep rolling down here forward. Just keep that in the back of your minds, because that's something that really needs to be spread worldwide. The other thing too you have to realize, of course, is not everyone out there is, even though you've seen this, a lot of people probably won't. I certainly hope the entire world sees this so they can wake up to reality. But those that don't, you walk up to them and you say, hey, mathematics and science have proven that I have demons that exist around me, and I need some help. They're probably gonna think you're completely whacked out of your brains, and that's exactly when I went to the hospital 3 times. I didn't say a word to anybody. I went to the doctors throwing me in a loony bin or something. So they're all like, "Well, what? Why are your eyes this way? It's the worst I've ever seen." I'm like, I don't know. I just woke up that way, I'm not going to sit there and tell them I was, attacked by a demon or whatever the hell it was that did this. You just can't tell that to people because, until science and math prove their existence, and people are not going to accept that as being a viable explanation for anything. And that's what I'm here to explain to everyone is anyone that says that is full of shit, because they do exist, and they were conjured and they were inflicted on me. and I have had severe physical torture and emotional pain and suffering and financial damage as a direct result. And it's something that could happen to everyone, and it's the BS camp that's behind it all. And that's what the BS camp probably wants you to like. Everyone's gonna think Jerry's nuts and out of his mind. Well, you know what, Mathematica. No, I'm sorry, BS campers, but that is not nuts. You guys are the ones that are nuts for doing that. But that's not nuts. That's called you guys trying to make it look like I'm nuts and go crazy, talking all this demon stuff, so you can come in and blow my brains out and get away with theft. But it's not going to happen because the world's going to be exposed to the truth, and that's exactly what's starting to happen right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to finish this up by looking at some other stuff here. We got train a net that classifies every pixel of an image. Okay, yeah. So basically, I'm just defining a way of analyzing the pixels by color and then defining that into sequences of words. Now, there's other ways to do sequencing too with neural nets, but it's just one way. I just wanted to see, how many classes do we have out there that detected, right? How many classes of demons did it see in there? Well, it's 27 different classifications of demons, which I thought was rather interesting. And that was over a sample of 15,727 detected demons. That's 15,727. Think about what I just said there, right? and this was when? Back in April, May, when we didn't even know they were there. Now, like I was trying to explain to you, when I tell you my house is infested with demons, I don't think you understand what I mean by that. You couldn't possibly understand. But believe me, if they do happen to attach, and that's how they spread, they're worse than the COVID virus. Someone could just come to my house or come to another house that they've already attached to, and they'll attach to them, and they'll attach to them. And just by the fact that you walk by someone, they can attach to you. You don't need to be within 6 foot distance wearing a mask. Masking can protect you from these guys, man. Nothing protects you from them except for your faith. Remember that. Your faith in God is what's going to protect you from them. Don't listen to all this, people who think they're great one and all this stuff. No, they're not great one. They're humans just like we are, And faith is the only armor you're going to need on this one. Spiritual warfare. So we come down here. I just did a few more neural net stuff here, and I wanted to look and see what my probability was of the pixel predict on the test data, and I got about 99.8625%. But we'll basically say that it's a pretty accurate prediction, right? So I don't think anyone's gonna have a problem with 99.8. That's pretty. That's pretty much 100%. So there it is, you guys. It's I should sell these as prints. No one has ever done this before. These are actual, real demons, man. And how they flow together and how they merge. I remember when I first started talking to everyone about this in the videos, you guys were probably like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Finally, I'm able to show you, what I was talking about. But even this is nothing compared to what they are right now. These things are there to kill me. They want me. The BS camp wants me dead. Right? So they can get away with theft, IP theft, right? Everything that the FBI is supposed to investigate and prosecute on, they're not doing shit. For 2 years, they've let them destroy everything that I own, everything I have, all my loved ones, everything. And it's disgusting, man. All right? I cannot let that happen to you or your families or your children. I cannot allow that. No way. That's why I spent all this time doing this. Even my ex-wife, she was like, what are you doing, dude? I'm like, what am I doing? Are you kidding me? I cannot allow this to happen to anyone else in this world. I cannot. My life is done. I'm destroyed. I'm as good as dead. But for the rest of you guys that have a life and a home and a happy family, I certainly hope that you guys continue to have that. Because it's not fair. It's not fair what these people do. And they should have all been put in prison a long time ago, or an insane asylum, or skinned alive on the White House. steps and hung alive in front of the world, I mean, that still wouldn't be enough of a punishment for them. But, at the same time, I pray for their souls. And that's what we all have to do, because I don't have hatred for them. All right? I don't have hatred. My pain and how pissed off I am comes from love in my heart. Love that got completely wrecked into a billion pieces, and it's still bleeding love. But my God, how much more of this do I have to take? So, I would hope that everyone got a real good lesson out of this, and you show this to the world, because I have proven for the first time ever in history what real demons look like, using a very powerful software package called Mathematica, made by Wolfram, probably the most powerful software in the world, actually. And no one can refute this. You cannot refute these images. And if someone tries to refute it, I'm looking at them and laugh in their face and be like, really? You show me where, every step of the way that I have shown everyone, you show me where I did something that can be refuted. Because nothing in there creates an image of a demon, right? Nothing in there like sneakily got slipped in that does that. No. These were there. All this did was use very powerful mathematics to pick up on them and to find them, and then show you where they were. So there they are, man, the demons. And there's also a possibility that these things can already exist among many of you, and I have a special offering which I will talk about at the very end of the presentation, so keep watching. There's a lot more I have to do. Actually, one of the other things I'm doing, I'll show you here at the bottom here. Where'd that go? It would have been, oh yeah, there's the data set. I should show you this too. Hold on one sec. Okay, so yeah, we did another edge, and then that was the that's the color negate matrix. Okay, and then we come down, we find the data set, we highlight the stronger components of the subsets of the data set. So let's grab that, bring it down. There's a big amount of data. It took a long time. Now you can see why it takes a lot to work through this stuff. Let's see here. This is the cool part I want to show you, though. Is what I'm doing next. Okay, so up here, right there, right there. Okay, so what I wanted to do was detect every possible pathway that these things make, right? Every pathway that they make, and define those edges and output them, right? Flatten them and output them. When I mean by flatten them, that means that they would normally be like curvilinear, right? They'd be mapped onto like a sphere, which I'll show you here in a sec as well. But I just wanted to flatten them out so I could look at their pathways in a linear way. And man, oh man, it's incredible. It's like this little algorithm and routine that I did nailed it, man. It goes on and on and on and on, and it just keeps going. It keeps. This is every single pathway that they make, every connection point for the demons. I mean, you can't understand how many there are. It's absolutely mind-blowing. But the fact of the matter is, by doing this, now I can define what they are. We can start to catalog these things. So eventually, there's like a giant database of demons, more or less. I mean, they need to know that I'm here. Those demons aren't going to get away with this shit with anyone else over my dead body. Will they do that? So, the BS camp, they can suck my balls. They're not going to get away with this shit either, because eventually they're going to have to face God. I've already won the war. God won the war, not me. This wasn't my war anyways. This is a bunch of demons running around. This is a bunch of cowards that sit around and lie, cheat, and steal, and hide behind their dark shadows of lies and deception and use their money, their political connections, the little Wiccan witchcraft bullshit, or whatever the hell they're doing, to try and, cause someone to go mentally insane. But, I'm too stable-minded to do that. I'm going to actually sit here and methodically and mathematically, scientifically, go through and prove whether or not I'm wrong about them or whether I'm right about them. And I can pretty much guarantee with about 99.8% probability that I'm right. So, BS Camp, yeah, like I said, suck my balls. Let me see, yeah, they'll have microscopic dicks. Let me take this, go down a little further. I'm going to show you one other little piece that's pretty cool. So this right here, random points on a sphere S are connected by lines, right? When you choose spheres as the connections, spheres are drawn on those lines' diameters. When you choose lines as the connections, S is drawn slightly smaller, making most of the lines visible. So what I'm doing is I'm mapping onto a sphere like the demon, small, small, big, small, really big, small. How it hooks up this way, and we can set the random seed to generate in any way we want to, right? And we can also rotate it around. But the random seed isn't rotating it; it's actually changing, the locations of the boils, as I like to call them, right? The boils. So we can pop the center sphere off. Go to lines only. I'm gonna have to recompile it. I know it worked. Okay, so and then we can set the number of points, right? And we can rotate it around. Now, do you see what that looks like? What does that look like to you? Aha! That looks like those things that I mapped onto that I flattened out, right? These are the paths of the demons. So I know in their paths, we can start to understand their families, right? Because there are families. They're families of demons, and they travel in paths and in trains, just like I said they did. And the fact of the matter is, by being able to, now this is going to be a little bit more complex. I'm going to have to work with a PhD in mathematics on this part because, and luckily he's willing to work with me on this. So I will let you know whether or not we're able to succeed on this part. But this would be phenomenal. Then we can get a full, almost like a 3D set of tunnels. And they can be easily detected, mapped, and then we define data sets based on various properties of the demon, and then we can determine which demons you have. And eventually, the database keeps growing bigger. But if it goes to classify the demon and it can't find a classification, it'll create its own classification for it, right? And then that gets added to the database and named whatever the hell you want to name it, right? Hey, guess what? You found a new demon. You get to name it. What do you want to name it? Name it, let's see, Del Skluzak, Mark Boback, Steve Bagwell, John Talbot Sant out of St. Louis. Name it one of those names. Or Megan McDevil, Kathleen Pirelli Zucchetta, Walter Horat. Name it one of those names, Richard Delaney, Larry Cohen. Man, there's so many of them. So many of them. Now just take a moment to read through everything in there, especially the little section I have on there about McDevil. She's a piece of work. So that was a good way to get everyone up to speed on, sort of the first part of this. There's a whole other second section we're going to go into. But I did want to bring up the BS camp because I got a few emails of people wondering who they were. So, the easiest way to explain that to you is they're a very cruel group of people. By far, they're the absolute most disgusting, most evil cruelty beyond what you can imagine. They make stuff up, and then they basically try and frame you for being a monster and being this terrible person. And a couple times he even came up to me while he was living at my house and I was paying for his way and said, this should have been you crap. And he goes, you should have cancer, not me, jumping in my face and all this stuff. And I was like, I should have cancer, not you, really? Well, don't you think if that was the case, then I would have the cancer, not you? I mean, how stupid can you be? But that's not him again. Like I said, that's the demon inside of him that he doesn't even realize what's happening. So it's unfortunate, but man, it's painful to the heart. That's all I gotta say. It's very painful. It sucks. Really does. In the BS camp, they kiss my ass. And believe me, I do not like talking about this stuff at all, but I have to. I've got to inform the world that these people exist out there, and they're demons. They're demons in human form, in fact. Be careful. Once in the mouth of madness of the BS camp, it's almost impossible to shake their poison loose because they poison you so heavily with bullshit. And they make you believe in their bullshit. And they make up evidence, and then they make you believe in their bullshit. And it's more bullshit stacked on top of bullshit, stacked on top of bullshit. Alright, so the fact of the matter is this. If they can do that to me, they can do that to anyone. That means your family, your kids, everyone's at risk from this thing, alright? From whatever the hell these things are, whatever they do to inflict. And I think that personally think that it could be a global scale attack coming up because like I said, I've seen these things moving around. I've seen them in quite a few other homes, and I've seen them in homes that are unrelated to mine. I've seen them in pictures online of friends of mine on Facebook. I've seen them in videos. I've seen them freaking everywhere, and that's what's scary. Is I'm like, what is going on out there? Why are they like all over the place like this? And what do they want with us? I suppose we could all take a guesstimate as to what that might be, but we really don't know. All I know is they exist. I've proven their existence now, so hopefully everyone now realizes I'm not mentally insane when I say this stuff. I was starting to second guess myself there for a bit, but I'm a pretty stable-minded guy, so I took a pretty good scientific scope at this and took it from the perspective of a scientist. Of course, it would be great to have an independent firm come out, but I just can't. Like I said, I can't seem to get anyone over to my house. It's like I'll talk to them for a bit, and I'll send them some videos or some of the activity over there, and seems like they come back to the table periodically, but they just nothing ever pans out. So I'm gonna have to find an independent group to go in there and just drop some equipment down so they can independently verify my cameras are seeing and stuff like that. That would probably help out quite a bit as well. In addition to that, as a result, I just actually got a new thing going, which is triangularization, a mesh grid for doing like finite differencing and finite element analysis, and hence the reason why I've got that little object there. Because what I'm going to do is, for a more accurate detection, is create a mesh. It's a really good way of doing things. And then extrude the face topologically. So effectively, I'll have edge detects of eyes and nose and things like this, and then we can, based on the image, we should be able to. I say we, I mean me. I'm the only one doing this, but I should be able to. Me and Mathematica, or Wolfram, and hopefully my buddy over there at Wolfram, who I'm going to be working with on this just a little bit. Maybe he'll be able to put a couple hours in with me on this. That'll be fun. But nonetheless, if we can, the topology is, right? It's basically like a 3D surface that extrudes outward, like a mountain map, right? Okay, so this is why this is why my brain does what it does. It just it doesn't have an off button. So I was just sort of multitasking while working on this and letting some things render out back over in Mathematica. And I have something I'm going to actually cut into this conclusion and add in because it's something that I think will help everyone to realize how we utilize logic and argument, right? In particular, even symbolic logic to make proofs of things, right? And this is where the BS camp are so just absolute full of shit, as well as the SEC, because none of their statements are they're not true, but number two, how can they justify a conclusion based on false premises, or maybe they twisted the truth into something else, or made a mountain out of a molehill, or connected dots that shouldn't have been connected. No matter which way, whatever they did, it's garbage and bullcrap, and the weak-minded fools of this world will listen to their bullshit and follow behind them. I mean, you have to be a stupid idiot to listen to anything the SEC or the BS camp says, because they're nothing but liars. So, anyways, I'm going to jump in here and show you guys how people that are scientists and people who know logic and argument do things. This is all very rudimentary stuff. I found a good way of doing this to kind of get your brains thinking along the side of that's great, Jerry, you say this, but how exactly can you prove this? And in the background there's some stuff that's being done that you're unaware of, because I was doing all that using Python, but I found a way to do it in Mathematica, so I'm going to show that to you. So I'm going to cut into this, add in another video I'm going to record right now, and then we can wrap this up. But I think this is going to be important for everyone to see. Great. Okay, so this is what I mean by a mesh grid, right, of a face. So you can see they're represented by a bunch of numbers that go along the grid lines of the mesh, right? So it's kind of like it's mapping out the topology of the face, right? So I just took a random facial image and popped it in there and took a mesh of that, and then defined and classified it as a human face, and then use the feature extractor to pull out the image features into a giant data set, right? So here's the data set right here. Again, it's a lot of data that needs to be processed on, right? So we can grab that and scroll it down. Okay, good. Now I'll come up here and start right here. So, some logic and argument for you too. Let's fix that typo. I was actually going to put this in another one, but it's so short, I just figured it'd probably be better if I just add it at the end now. If you'd better understand how we use Mathematica as a tool for showing proof, right? Actual, real proof, mathematically. Mathematics doesn't lie. BS camp and the SEC, they lie. FBI turns their head, local law enforcement turns their head, because they live the lie as well. Me, I live in the world of the truth and reality, and that's what I'm here to show. So, group theory, I've studied group theory heavily. The axioms of group theory first need to be specified, right? So this is all, high school level math, logic, and argument. I mean, there's nothing really complicated here that we're doing. It's just utilizing Mathematica's power to do it really fast, right? So we just go through this we'll go through this really fast. So if anyone needs a refresher on logic and argument, just send me a note, poltergeist9743@gmail.com, and I will send you some references that will get you up to speed really fast. On the math side and on the logic and argument side. Symbolic logic is something I studied heavily as well for many, many years. And this is where I was able to really quickly decipher where, the BS camp were going way off base, and same with the SEC, of course. They're blatant lies. But aside from that, they think they're going to get away with this, and they're not. And I'm here to show the world that I live in a different world than they do. I just don't make crap up and then frame people and bust them and run around and celebrate and party on someone else's dime. That's while they sit there and lie in a gutter and die. That's demonic in and of itself. So we start off with group theory here, and the specification has been set. We execute on that, and then we need to identify the left side. So for the left side identity, we'll prove the left side, because that's what we're seeing was the left side of the face, right? So we're going to do that, and then proof, find equatorial, prove it's simple, and then we execute that, and we see it's using equational logic, and we define the set, and then the function g e with respect to x is defined as x, right? So that's all within that set. And then next we will show the theorem statement, proof, theorem, very simple, right? And now we will let's show the axioms of the theorem, and then which is pretty critical, and then we prove that, and then of course we show which logic we're using, which is equatorial. I'm thinking of mount, German equatorial mount, equational logic. So okay, that was that's as simple as it gets. It gets so simple. Let's do this for like a Bayesian group theory, and then if we take and we look at something a little more complex, go through the same exact steps. It's pretty simple when we come down here and we show the proof data set, which is right here, and then we just have to look at this in a very stepwise manner, because the next thing we'd have to do is extract the statement of critical pair lemma 2, which is what I'm doing right here, right? So we extract the statement here, critical pair lemma 2, and then we need to extract the proof of critical pair lemma 2, right? So we get the proof, and that's basically what this is right here, and that's pretty easy to do as well. So now that we've gone through that, let's use some Boolean algebra and prove a theorem, right? Same exact thing. First things first, then we set the proof up, and then we show the proof graph, and then I can show the edge list here. Remember what edges were from above. There's a graph of the network, and then the network of data points. So let's prove a theorem of first order logic, right? Very simple, first order stuff here. And then we're going to go for typesetting a natural language argument, which is all here. It's all very simple stuff here. And then now we're going to get in and prove what's called so we will use something called Sheffer logic, and we'll have to start again. The very first thing, specify the axioms of Sheffer logic, right? So this stuff is where it really starts to get fairly easy. I think that everyone will really grasp this fairly fast. Actually, let me just go up above here again so you guys can see what that looks like here, and we can also from there. We can highlight all the set. We can highlight all of the substitution lemmas, right? So by doing that, let me just. I've got my code in another workbook here. Let me just copy that and paste it in over here as a new. So let's go like that. Paste, and that should show us. Do that. So that works. Yep, works just fine. So, the power of Mathematica, so amazing. I'm blown away with Mathematica. I always have been since I first started using it when I was a young teenager going to RPI. But, I mean, it really is extremely powerful. Always has been since day one. But now, after, 30 plus years of them developing it, I'm like, I am in love with Mathematica. It's phenomenal stuff. So here we're going to do something a little bit different, though. We're going to go through and do the same exact type of thing that we did before, except we're going to use prove a theorem in first order logic for a Boolean logical system, right? So come down here, and the same exact thing. It's the same exact steps that we did before. First, define the axioms, then come down here with a proof, and then we output and build and build and turn the associated proof function, basically, right? So again, first we have to specify the axioms of Shepherd logic, which was right here, and then we go through and prove a theorem on Shepherd logic, right? And that's that proof right there. And then we build and run the associated proof function, right, which is right here. And we show that the proof, in fact, is true. Right? This is how we define something that is either true or not, is using real logic and argument, not BS camp logical system, which is make up a bunch of bullshit and then frame someone for what they did criminally against someone and then pin them against the wall. That logical system might work in the world of demons and pure chaos and pure evil, but it doesn't work in our world, and they need to learn that lesson, that they cannot get away with this shit. I don't care if they're elitists or how much money they have. It's not going to work. This is how we do things the right way. So this is stuff that I actually did in Python in the background that you didn't see, but I wanted to show you how easy it is to do in Mathematica, is to write the Python scripts for this. Took me quite some time. But Mathematica, it's just a matter of writing a few statements, execute on them, boom, there's your proof. Is it true? Yeah, it's true. Did the mappings work correct? Yeah, everything worked correctly. So this is what I'm going to have to do with something much, much more complex than a simple, you can kind of see the edges of the face and things like that there. But if we were to look at, what we're actually going to be using this for, something like this right here. What we'll be using this for something like this. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave that up again for a little while so everyone can take a look and actually realize what's going on there. I mean, I'm just blown away, and I don't know if anyone caught on to it or not yet, but the further you go back, the bigger the images are that you see in the rows and how they're integrated together in all directions, up, down, right, left, sideways, diagonally, the pathways that they form, right? But if you step back way, way away from it, then you can see, a really big object in there. In fact, there's its eyes right there, right? There's its sort of mouth, nose. You can see its mouth actually forms the image of yet another demon right here, which is that another demon inside of that. That one's got a demon inside of that right here, and then there's yet another one inside of that there, and then there's another one inside of that. Right? It's like a fractal, man. A fractal of demons. It's amazing. You step way, way back though, and you'll see these teeth right here. These are actually teeth marks of a big, giant Mr. Fugly, right? Huge Mr. Fugly right there. So, I mean, that mouth must have taken up the entire freaking garage. So, it's rather interesting when you think about it. But there it is, man. That's proof of demonic existence. Now what I'm going to do is go through and characterize and see if I can't edge detect and get topologies of various demons that were classified. I think if I remember correctly, we said that there are 27 classifications that it came up with, 27 new ones that it used a neural net to predict what those newly classified objects were, right? And we'll store those into like a SQL server, a SQL database, and then have that as a giant LUT, a lookup table in software where people can utilize that to determine, hey, what demons do I got around me, and also add to the database as well. That's ultimately where I'm going with this software. It's going to take some time to put that infrastructure together, and it's going to require intensive GPU processing, so it's going to cost some money to do that as well. But nonetheless, if you take a look here, you can see the closer you get into it, I mean, there's really, really tiny faces in here. There's a small one right there. There's even smaller ones right here. Going to the side, there's his eyes, there's his nose, and there's even smaller ones than that. I mean, it's mind-blowing, man. So what we'll have to do is do this in layers, right? By using a distance function or distance transform, we'll be able to do that pretty easily. And that's how we detect the edges, how far in distance we go. We also define other properties, because if you just change the contrast a little bit, you'll get a whole new set of demons. And that those are layers. This is one slice, one cross section. Imagine in a volume taking cross sections, not in the micrometer region, but say we took cross sections every I don't know, 6 inches or so, right? In a room. Every 6 inches we look at that cross section, we're going to have a different layer of demons. It is insane what these things do. I don't even know how it's possible. It's a whole other dimension, right? This is a dimension of pure chaos. It's evil, pure evil. I don't even know how to explain it, man. Like I said, this is something so far beyond what anyone's been able to prove before, that they even exist in the first place. Oh, they exist. There's no doubt about that. And here's a proof of it right here again. So I'll get back to closing this session down, and I hope you've enjoyed, for the first time ever in the history of the world, proving the real existence of real demons that exist in our real world. This cannot be refuted. Mathematics doesn't lie, and all the scripts that have been written, everything was fully disclosed, fully up front. The image that was used to create this was up front, fully disclosed. The cutout at the top, I showed you exactly where that came from. That wasn't added stuff in. That came from the image. So there's nothing, no sleight of hand, of course. BS Camp love playing sleight of hand. That's what they live for. Whereas I love to play the game of reality. And that's the game I think that all of you love to play as well, as long as it's not part of the BS Camp. But, let's let me wrap this up, because I'm sure it's been going on for way too long right now. But I think this is something that you need to show to everyone, because if everyone realizes that mathematics has proven the existence of demons, then, we can go from there, and everyone can open up their minds to this. Otherwise, they're going to be very closed-minded. So to wrap up here, I have a offering to offer for everyone, and that's because I got to find a way to make some money somehow. BS Camp, my ex-fiance and former best friend, stole everything from me, so the offer is rather simple. So what I'm going to do is utilize a sequence of these various Mathematica scripts. There's several notebooks that have been written. Remember, notebooks are what I just opened up, how you basically input script, Wolfram script, or you can inject Python code, C++ code. Mathematica is universally incredible. So what I'll do is offer for anyone that wants to, take a picture of their surroundings, right? So if you took a photo of, say, your living area or your kitchen, or just you don't need to even be in the picture. Just a picture of your surroundings around you. It has to be a fairly wide view, so I can see what's happening. Initially, just with my naked eye, I'll be able to tell you if you got something in there, because I can do that now. But I'll also put it through the algo, and the set of algos, I should say, and let you know whether or not something's there or not. And we're doing so because it'll take some time and construct a very solid analytical report to send back. You'd have to email me to poltergeist9743@gmail.com. Email me your static image. For each static image, I'll charge you $50 for it. And for each 1 minute clip of video, I will charge $150 to run it through there, because I can also do this with video as well. So, that's well worth it to know, because the earlier you know about these things, the better chance you have at ridding them, number one, but more importantly than that, of not going through the hell that I went through. There's no telling what's happening. All I know is, like I said, I've seen in just random pictures online here and there, and I'm like, what the hell are they doing there? And I've proven that they're there by running it through my Mathematica algorithms, which are sort of all nested together now. And I'll work with a person at Mathematica to sort of tighten all that up and streamline it, so you can just add photo and run it through the processes all the way down to the bottom where we construct the image. And not only you get a cool color prints if it detects something of what what those demons are, and then you'll know. I'll know real fast. It'll probably take me about maybe 2 to 4 hours per image, and about maybe 4 to 8 hours per 1 minute segment of video, depending how dense it is. Also, the higher the resolution, obviously, the better. You have a standard iPhone, new iPhone or Android device that's got a fairly good camera on it. That would be good. The higher the resolution image, the better it will be. And I'm anxious to do this too. Not only try and survive over here, keep food on the table for my kids, pay bills, but also to test this algorithm out, make a little money, and help you guys out, of course, too, because there's a chance that you might have them there and you don't even know it. And if you know about it, which I'm sure these demons aren't going to be very happy about me doing that, but they could screw off and die. I didn't invite them into my house. They're invited by BS campers, so they don't scare me one bit, and they know that they don't scare me. They can pop up and EVP all they want to. In fact, to close this entire thing, I'm going to play an EVP that appeared on my kitchen camera, and this is when I realized I got a problem. And I think it was my ex-wife who actually, because she was going through video, I was going through videos, you were all kind of going through them, and she was listening to some while she was driving around, Bluetoothing the audio into the car, and said she almost ran off the damn road when this thing came on. And yeah, it's pretty scary stuff. Especially if you don't know it's going to come, and it's loud. This is a definitive EVP from a demonic entity or entities, because they start off saying, it sounds like the first is, "We are here," and then they make this growl noise, and then they make another couple statements like, I think it says, "I'm not Valak." Valak, by the way, is the name of a Goetian demon. And then I can't really make out the next statement, color of Valak or something like this. But check out this EVP. This one is to close this presentation and give you something to realize that you may want to be sending me a picture or a 1 minute segment of video, and I'm only going to do it for the first 500. All right, so if the entire world tries to come at me like that, they're going to have to wait until I get the software done. But for the first 500 that I receive in, $50 a pick, and $150 for 1 minute segment of video. So if you sent me, say, 2 pictures in one minute segment of video, that would come to $250, and then you just send that to my Venmo or Cash App or via Bitcoin, which you'll see as listed at the bottom as a donation, and I will get to work and output for you a very methodical, very real, very accurate report that will truthfully tell you with the highest degree of integrity whether or not you have demonic entities that are around you. I think it's important for everyone to know, and like I said, the earlier you know, the better, because if these things start to infest and it gets to the point where it got in my house, you're doomed, man. That's not a good situation, because they will attack, they will possess, and you've got to have faith in God. You got to have love in your heart the whole time. Do not let these demons say anything to you, because they'll probably attack the weakest members of the house. Children, kids, they'll do. They don't care. These are nasty, nasty, evil beings. I don't want to see them hurting anyone else like they hurt me, and my loved ones as well. My, ex-fiance, my former best friend, and others that were around me. People I was doing business with. They're clueless. They're lost in the mouth of madness. They don't even know what the hell is going on. It's pathetic. So here's that EVP. Thanks so much.